Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakbadash. I want to give double honors to elders and apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth and rule well. And I'll say Shalom to you Akim Nakwa out there pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you today with a walk and talk. Alright. So, today's topic's going to be on, get rid of the ad. Today's topic, alright, got a couple news articles. Alright. We're not going to be reading all through them. So, like, you bear with me a moment. Fuck you. Alright. So, we're going to be reading, just skimming through them. Really, alright. They're not like a whole bunch of articles to go read through. You basically get the point from reading the title. Alright. So, the title of this one, this is from Salt Lake Tribune. It reads, let me move my finger so I'm not blocking the mic. One of my previous lessons, I was blocking the mic all hardcore. So, Salt Lake Tribune, it says, Lake Powell and Lake Mead could collapse without more water cuts along the Colorado River. A new paper explains. All right, and another thing I want to do real quick is I want to look something up. What states... All right, and that's, of course, that's the first thing that comes up. Does Lake Mead supply? All right, it says it's the largest man-made reservoir in North America. Lake Mead pumps water from the Colorado River to nearly 25 million people. It's a major water source for residents and tribes in Arizona, Nevada, California, and parts of Mexico. All right. So let's go back up here. So that's large. That's especially with California on there. All right, that's a large chunk of the West. All right. So Lake Powell and let's look up Lake Mead or Lake Powell. Slovakia. Which states does Lake Powell supply? Same thing, California, Arizona, and Nevada. All right. So your brothers that happen to be living in California, Arizona, all right, or Nevada, all right. That's one of the situations to look at. All right. Now, of course, if you're of the elect, the Most High is going to keep you safe. All right, and that's what we go by. All right, these things freak out a lot of other people. But us being the hopeful elect, it's not the biggest concern. All right, when we see it, well, that's one of those things you just got to basically, you just got to put it in the hands of the Most High as it is, So these worldly people, though, they're going to be freaking out. All right, it's like when the beginning of the whole situation in 2019, 2020, you know what I'm talking about. All right, got to be selective with my words, but with that whole situation at hand, you remember you could not find water hardly. All right, you could get it on tap, of course. The taps weren't running out. All right, like they're saying now. All right, will eventually be a thing, basically. All right, but you couldn't find it. People were buying pallets and like Costco of water. All right, hoarding everything up with food. All right, so this lesson, I was going to mention that too. This lesson isn't just dealing with drought. All right, it's also famine, because you got to think, if there's a drought, and this isn't speaking of just bottled water. All right, they're saying lakes, all right, are drying up. All right, that supply water. So if that's the case, that means the crops aren't going to be able to get any water either. All right, and without the water, those crops are going to die. All right, which is going to lead to a famine as well. All right, and these are things that are happening. These are things that are coming, whether you want to believe it or not. They're prophesied to happen within the Bible. All right, and we know those things to be true. All right, and coming to be true. So we're going to go ahead and read it. It says, the peer-reviewed paper comes as Colorado River water users are planning for the biggest cutbacks in history. All right. It says, this is a EcoFlight, an aerial view of the Glen Canyon Dam at Lake Powell. I'm going to have to post up under someone. The phone's getting hot again with this damn weather. So, without significant permanent cuts to water use in the Colorado River Basin, both Lake Powell and Lake Mead may be headed for collapse. That's according to the new peer-reviewed paper, Slovakia, published in Journal Science this week, that analyzed how current agreements between basin users would fare if the 23-year trend of below-average runoff in the basin continues. Slovakia. One moment, bear with me. Post up under here so I can see the screen a little bit better, get out of the sun. Whew. Hot out here, man. Says, the short answer is not well. Despite layers of drought contingency plans that have been added in recent years to trigger increasing cutbacks for certain users as Lake Mead's level drops. If this millennium drought persists, wrote the paper's authors, which included a team of researchers from Utah State University's Center for Colorado River Studies, Colorado State University, and the University of Oxford, then stabilizing reservoir levels to avoid severe outcomes will require reducing water use to match diminished runoff. All right, the demand can't continue to outpace supply without, let me bring it up here, that demand can't continue to outpace supply without further draining Lake Powell and Lake Mead, which are both filled to 27% capacity, down from 95% full in 2000. That's a fairly obvious point. It's also clear that the current drought planning measures won't cut it alone, since the federal government had to enact emergency actions last April to send more water than usual into Lake Powell. All right, we're going to basically cut that article right there because we got the point of it. All right, the other ones we're going to skim through. All right, so these lakes, all right, and right now it's happening in the west. All right, but things will be coming to people in the east too. All right, just like there's certain things that affect the east more than the west, and there's certain things that affect the west more than the east. All right, they're different things. All right, like the east, all right, east and up and north and all that, they can get, you know, tornadoes, and if you're on like the coastal places over, hurricanes and all that. Over on the west, all right, we don't really see a whole lot of that. All right, we don't see a whole lot of tornadoes. All right, but we have the scorching heat, scorching desert. All right, we get extreme heat waves. All right, and they're killing people. All right, and you know, water droughts. All right, extreme dryness. Is this the same one? Yeah, this is the same one. Slovakia. All right, this is so this is a proposition that I just wanted to show. All right, it's just showing you how bad the situation is. All right, it says it's time for the Army Corps of Engineers to investigate the feasibility of moving water west. And basically what this is speaking of, I guess we'll read a little bit of it. It says numerous letters, including mine of June 30th, have commented recently on the possibility of moving water from the Mississippi River to the Colorado River at Lake Powell, Galena Canyon Dam on the Utah-Colorado border, and then downstream to Lake Mead. All right, so, you know, this, you can look it up. It's Desert Sun. Just type in, you know, the headline of this article. But I just wanted to grab this one just to show you that, you know, it is bad where they're thinking about diverting water, all right, from the east, or all right, over to the west. All right, that's a situation that they're thinking about happening. Now, will it happen? Who knows? Probably not. All right, but you never know. All right, now another one, all right, that I want to touch on. This is from Barron's. A food shortage could be coming even in the U.S., all right, because that's the thing. And they say even in the U.S. because these American people, all right, believe that they're untouchable. All right, that's how they've been taught by their government. All right, that they think that the U.S. is basically invincible, which is not the case. All right, and these people really do think that. I was reading this article about the nukes. All right, that Putin was talking about. He said, what was the quote? He said, a nuclear war wouldn't benefit anybody. All right, which was basically, you know, it was basically a threat. All right, because that's what he does. But people in the comments were saying, basically saying, like, yeah, you know, we don't even know if his nukes probably don't even work. All right, or his missiles probably don't even work. All right, and if you think that, you are sorely mistaken. All right, and you're going to be sorely mistaken, and you're going to be finding out the hard way that that's not true. All right, which regardless, you're going to find out the hard way that that's not true. All right, so unless you repent. So it says, I'll post up over here. It says There's a picture. It says solar farms like this one in Andrews County, Texas, are gobbling up prime farmland. Some observers see a long-term threat to the nation's food supply. It says, as financial markets and media remain focused on recession, timing, and debate over when the Federal Reserve will flip to cutting interest rates, growing threats to the U.S. food supply, exacerbated by government policy, go underappreciated. All right. It says concerns of global food shortage have been mounting given the war in Ukraine and the huge amounts of fertilizer, wheat, and other food-related exports that come from that region. Many economists and strategists say a food shortage can't happen here. After all, the U.S. produces most of its own food, and roughly half of domestic land is used for agricultural production, according to the Food and Drug Administration, unless you have a big-ass drought, coincidentally. All right. There are several overlapping reasons, however, why America shouldn't take a sufficient food supply for granted, all right? And we're just going to, again, if you want to go ahead and read that, you can go and, look it up. Barron's, a food shortage could be coming even in the U.S., all right? That's something you can look up. I'm not going to go all through it. But you basically, you got the gist of it, all right? We got the gist of it. That's all that's really needed. All right, and that shows you that like that said in this article, all right, people don't think it can happen because most of the produce, all right, in the U.S. is in-house grown, all right, so to speak. So they don't think anything's going to happen, all right, but they'd be sorely mistaken, especially when there's a drought on the rise. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to grab some scripts. I should have had this set up before, Slovakia. We're going to grab, actually, you know what, I have to go over here and grab it, I believe. Is it this one? Yeah, this one has it. So we need Ciroc. Alright. Actually, no, we need second address, 16, 19. Alright. This is, second address 16 and 19, all right, and it reads, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment, all right, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges, all right, and this is, I believe I brought this out in my previous lesson, all right, so, actually, you know what, let me see. Now let's read from 18. All right, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. All right, so Yahweh Shem Yahushai is sending these plagues as a scourge for amendment. All right, to tell these people, hey, turn from your wicked ways. Stop doing these things. But these people are too dick-headed, all right, too dumb to get it, all right, as it says in verse 20, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. These people, you got to realize, when these things happen, the first thing that comes to their mind is not that the Most High is doing these things, and that he's plaguing them with these things, all right. The first thing is that Mother Nature is doing it, all right, or that, basically that's what they think. They basically think the earth, I've seen these people, and when you see on these posts about CV or MP, if you know what I'm talking about, all right, the Curious George going around, all right, they're basically saying that basically the earth, all right, Mother Nature is trying to take them out, all right, and that's not the case, all right. Yahweh Shem Yahushai is taking you out, not trying, he is taking you out, all right, with these plagues he's putting on you, all right. And we already know who the MP, all right, the Curious George is affecting most. All right, we already know who that's affecting most. That ain't no coincidence. All right. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. All right, they're not gonna give any attention to it. All right, they're gonna continue in their wickedness. All right, and basically think they're invincible. All right. Grab this other script. Right, so we're gonna switch over. fuck yeah, I'm using 2 here. I'm using 2 here because 1 allows me to highlight a little bit better, but this one's the one I prefer, but it doesn't have the Apocrypha in it, unfortunately. This is Isaiah. You know what? I'm gonna just Isaiah 65:13. All right, and I can't see my screen at all, barely. All right, let me go over here. All right, it says, therefore, thus. Okay, yeah. This is, I see, these are all kind of, I had them in a rough order. They might not be in the best order. All right, we're just gonna grab them as they are. All right, and explain. So this is Isaiah 65:13. All right, so a little bit of a preface on this. You know, like I was saying at the beginning of the lesson, all right, the elect, this isn't something the elect really has to worry about, all right? The hopeful elect, all right, because we don't call ourselves the elect, we call ourselves the hopeful elect, all right, because we can't be 100% for sure, all right? So we call ourselves the hopeful elect, all right, because we are hopeful that we are of the elect, all right? The elect of Israel, all right, is the 1/3 that's going to be saved, all right, of course, from the nation of Israel, all right? When Yahweh Shem Yahushai returns, all right, to deliver his elect, all right, being that 1/3, all right, and to kill the other half, all right, which would be the 2/3, all right, and the other heathen nations as well, all right, and, you know, basically turn over the hands of this earth from Esau, all right, to Jacob. So this is Isaiah 65:13, all right. It says, therefore, my screen's doing that thing where it's getting all dim again. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord our power, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. All right, and we're actually going to grab verse 14 too. It says, behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. All right, yeah, but so verse 13 and 14. All right, and that's exactly what's going to happen. All right, so all these people, all right, and here's one. Here, I'm going to mention this too. For all you people, all right, out there, most notably you Edomites, because you Edomites do it the most, all right, that are hoarding up whole basements full of food and water and drinks, all right, if you're not of the elect, that's not going to even go to you, all right, and we know that the Edomites, you can't be of the elect because you can't be saved, all right, you're instant destruction, all right, the Most High has no dealings with you, all right. So that isn't going to be for you, all right? You think you're going to be fine? No, that's not the case, all right? And you people that are in those bunkers underground, the Most High is going to peel you out of those things. He's going to rip those things open like a tuna can, all right? And you think you're going to be safe? You think you're going to hide from the Lord? That's pretty, what's the word I'm looking for? That's pretty bold, all right? And pretty proud of you to assume that, all right? But these people really do think that they're going to be able to take the Most High. They believe that they're going to be able to take on the Lord, all right, and that they're going to be able to basically get one over on him. They think that when he comes down, they're going to try to, you know, shoot at him with missiles and rockets and bazookas and machine gun fire. And it's not gonna do a thing, all right. But I'll tell you what, when Yahweh Shem Yahushai fires back at them, all right, with spiritual power, they're not going to last, all right. They're going to be zapped, all right, smithereens, kaput, all right. So therefore, thus saith the Lord our power. Behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. All right, so who are his servants? All right, his servants are the brothers and sisters that are within this truth. All right, following after the footsteps of Yahweh Shem Yahushai to the best of their ability. All right, and men doing the work. All right, women keeping the law to the best of their ability. All right, and doing what they're supposed to be doing. All right, and here we are with the cicadas once again, making a whole bunch of noise, you know. That one shut up as I walked by. I didn't see it, but strange creatures, man. So, you know, the people that are in this truth, all right, and that notably are of the elect. Man, these things are loud over here. It says that you know, that are notably of the elect, and hopefully you guys can still hear me. The men, women, and children that are of the elect, they're going to be able to eat, all right. But if you're not of that elect, you're not going to be doing no eating, all right. It's not going to be, happy-go-lucky. All right, so these people, notably the Edomites, because they're the ones you always see on the, what's that channel, that show, Doomsday Preppers, all right? They have that channel Doomsday Preppers, all right? Those people aren't going to be eating, all right? And if they are, it's only going to be for a little bit, all right? So, you know, you brothers and sisters, this isn't like a thing that you really have to worry about, all right, as long as you have the faith. So here we are back in the tunnel. If it sounds echoey again, all right, it's actually nice in here because the heat isn't in here. It's nice and cool. Let's grab, I think you got to switch again. I sure do. 15, 58. This is 2nd Esdras 15 and 58. It reads, and I like the script. This is a brutal scripture to put this into perspective, all right, of how bad it's going to be. All right, this is 2nd Esdras 15 and 58. They that be in the mountains shall die of hunger. All right, so you get these Edomites and these other nations as well. You got some of Jake as well that they make these channels, or like wilderness survival, where they tell you how to build a tent. You're gonna run up in the mountains. All right, well, guess what? Now you're not gonna be able to have no food. All right, and this is a wonderful explanation. 2nd Esdras 15 and 58. They that be in the mountains shall die of hunger, and eat their own flesh, and drink their own blood, for very hunger of bread and thirst of water. All right, and that's a brutal depiction, all right, of what's going to be going down in these end days. All right, these people are going to be so hungry and so thirsty, they're going to be eating their flesh and drinking their own blood. All right, does that sound fun to you? All right, because it sure doesn't sound fun to me. I don't want no part of that. All right, Lord willing. All right, you faithful, diligent brothers and sisters. All right, Lord willing, you don't have to go through that either. All right, because the elect isn't going to be going through things like that. All right. Now we're out of the tunnel. I'm gonna post up here out of the sun once again, so the phone don't overheat and I can see, and so I don't overheat. Let's go on to Isaiah 41. And 17. All right, Isaiah 41 and 17. All right, it reads, when the poor and needy seek water. All right, we know as poor is us. All right, Israel. All right, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. When the poor and needy seek water, and there is none, and their tongue filleth for thirst, I, the Lord, all right, will hear them. I, the power of Israel, will not forsake them. I will open rivers in high places and fountains in the midst of valleys. I will make the wilderness of a pool of water, and the dry land springs of water. All right, so you got to think now, really, when you listen to this, all right, I'm going to read it one more time and break it down. When the poor and needy seek water, and there is none, all right, because there's not going to be any water, it's going to be a severe drought, just like the famine. All right, the famine's going to come, and a drought as well. All right, and you can't have food if there's no water. All right, unless it's everything. All right, because if you have crops, they need water to grow. All right, if you have livestock, all right, such as cows, all right, goats, all right, sheep, what else? Any other animal. All right, I named clean ones. All right, those need water to survive. All right, and what do they eat? They eat grass as well. So if they can't eat and they can't drink, then you're not going to eat and you're not going to drink. All right, that's the situation. All right, when the poor and needy seek water, and there is none, and their tongue faileth for thirst, I, the Lord, will hear them. I, the power of Israel, will not forsake them. All right, so he's not going to say, oh, you don't get nothing. All right, as we see when we were guided out of Egypt, all right, we were eating manna, all right, which sustained us. All right, we were able to survive on that. All right. And of course you had people that were complaining about that. All right, but at the end of the day, they lived through it. This is 18. All right. I will open rivers in high places and fountains in the midst of valleys, and make the wilderness a pool of water, and the dry land springs of water. All right. So if you're in a place like I am, all right, in Nevada, and it's desert here, man. You know, you're in the city and you can't really see it, but it's basically a huge desert. That's basically what Nevada is. In places like Nevada, Arizona, all right, a large chunk of California, all right, parts of Utah as well, all right. Colorado, not so much. I believe there is some surrounding areas where it's a little bit deserty, but those are on like the borders, all right. But you know, basically big deserts, all right. And they don't. If you go out in the middle of the desert here in Nevada, guess what? You're not gonna find no water, all right. In the city, you do, all right. But out in the wilderness, you're not gonna find no water like that, all right. So what does it say? It says, "I will open rivers in high places and fountains in the midst of valleys. I will make the wilderness a pool of water and the dry land springs of water." All right. So if you're of the elect, all right, in time of Jacob's trouble, all right, which is coming, all right. And you're walking through the wilderness, all right, as one of the elect, and there's no water, and you're crawling on your knees, thirsty as hell. The Most High, all right, will just open a huge pool of water, all right, and you can drink from that, all right. It's going to be the same thing with food, all right. His elect is going to eat, all right. There was an example, I believe it was Elder Menatazak from the GMS South Carolina camp, all right, the elder of that camp, all right. He made a reference of, you know, you might have an animal, all right, a clean one, of course, might you know, come out of nowhere and lay down and accept to be slaughtered by you so you could eat, all right. Or you might even come across the big table that's a feast. You might just have everything you need, all right, lamb, all right, bread, all right, water, all right, everything you need, all right, meat, all right, you know, whether it be from a cow, fish, all right, lamb, all right, everything you need to eat, it might just appear, all right, out of thin air, all right, and it might be a place that a bunch of elect gather to eat, all right, and then after they're done eating, it just vanishes, all right. You can't underestimate the works of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, all right, because that's one thing these people in the world do. They say, how would the Most High do that? How would the Most High do this? You got to realize the Most High made everything, all right. You can't comprehend what He can or cannot do. All right, why would He be able to do it? Because He's the Most High. That's why He can do it. All right, and that's why He did do it. All right, it's as simple as that. We're gonna move on to Lamentations 4:9. All right, now listen to this. I should have grabbed this a little bit earlier, but like I said, I'm just going with a flow. All right, I grabbed some scriptures. They might not have been in the best order, but we'll continue on. Now, this should have been one that was next to, was it 2nd Esdras 15 and 58? Yeah, 15 and 58. This is basically according with that. All right, you got to realize, I'll just go ahead and read it, all right? I'll let the scripture explain itself. It'll do a lot better job than me. Lamentation 4:9, all right? 9, it says, "They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger, for these pine away, stricken through for want of fruits of the field." All right, you got to realize, if you've ever seen those videos or those pictures, all right, of people that are starving, all right, they're all rib, all right, they can barely move, all right, they have no energy, they're sick, all right. I imagine they feel like complete shit, all right. Those people, that's a terrible, because you don't die within a day, all right. That can take a long time, especially if you're trying to survive, all right. You ate a beetle or something, you know, last week. So that gave you, you know, a boost in your protein. Not that you should be eating beetles, all right, they're unclean. But, you know, these people that, you know, like in history throughout, like Africa, all right, as well as other places, all right, starvation, all right, you might find a bug and eat it, and all right, and that gave you, I don't know, 50 milligrams of protein or something that lets you go on for another week, all right. Now you're living for another week when you're in pain, all right, and it's just barely enough to keep you alive. All right, that's a terrible death. Meanwhile, if you got ran through with a sword, all right, and your guts spilled out, all right, or shot down with a gun, you probably die at least, you know, within that day. All right, even if you're laying there bleeding out, all right, it's still at least probably within that day, 2 days max, probably. All right. Again, I'll read it. Lamentations 4:9. They that be slain with a sword are better. All right, it's better to be slain with a sword. All right. Than they that be slain with hunger, all right? So it's better to be slain with a sword than it is to be slain by hunger, all right? That's a terrible death, all right? If you look up those pictures, all right, and those videos of it, it's an awful way to go, all right? And Lord willing, I don't go that way, and Lord willing, you brothers and sisters don't go that way, all right? Lord willing, we're of the elect. That's why we call ourselves the hopeful elect, all right? We're looking forward to being part of that number, Lord willing. So one more time, they that be slain with a sword are better than they that be slain with hunger, for these pine away, stricken through for want of the fruits of the field. All right, it's not gonna be a nice thing. All right, it's a terrible, terrible way to go. All right, and a lot of these people are gonna end up eating their children or their animals. All right, their cats. All right, I think you love that. Oh, they love their kid, they love their animal, and when they start getting hungry, they're gonna eat them. They're gonna eat them. All right, especially you big old fat bastards. All right, you people weighing 500, 600 pounds. All right, you see them rolling around Walmart on one of the carts. All right, so somebody with broken legs can't even get around. All right, somebody with paralysis can't even get around, and that's a judgment on their part. But they can't even get around because someone decided to eat one too many Big Macs. All right, it's ridiculous. 2nd Esdras 6:22. All right, yeah, and this is all where I'm going with this at the end, as we get closer and closer to the end of this lesson. All right, this all eventually is gonna correlate and make it really easy for them to implement the M to the O to the T to the B, the C to the H to the I to the P. All right. If you know what I'm speaking of, you know what I'm speaking of. All right, that did it all. All right. And why is that? We're gonna get that. After this scripture. We're going to get that after this scripture, all right? These scriptures that we're grabbing right now, after this, we're going to get why that is. All right, 2nd Esdras 6:22. And this is what's going to happen, all right? And we already seen a little bit of a taste, all right? A little bit of a warning, a little bit of a sneak peek, all right? When the CV-19, the 2019, the 2020 issue happened, all right? With the couldn't find hardly any water or any food in places, all right? That was a little sneak peek, all right? This is 2nd Esdras 6:22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. All right, so all those places, I went to Walmart and I got me a big old bag of chips and 5 juicy prime rib steaks. All right, and I got like 5 packs of chicken breasts. All right, and some chicken wings. All right, and you got some milk. All right, and some vegetables. All right, some corns. All right, some broccoli, some carrots. All right, and then you got some fruits, some strawberries, some blueberries, some grapes. All right, some bananas. All right, it's not gonna happen like that. All right, that's what's happening now. It's not gonna happen like that. You're gonna go there, you're gonna find nothing. All right, you'll find the skin of a blueberry sitting on the ground. All right, 2 people bashing their fucking heads in trying to get it. And not even that, I'm just being comical with it. All right, and this is a serious situation though. All right, and as even being comical with it, people are going to be bashing each other's heads open and killing each other for these things. All right, this as in 23 or in verse 24. All right, so we're going to read the whole thing. All right, without interruption. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall suddenly be afraid. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still. All right, so the springs of the fountain shall stand still, and 3 hours they shall not run. Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world. All right, so these people that endure through that and make it and survive through that, all right, would be the elect. All right, and they're going to see salvation, all right, in the end of this world, and translated into Jacob's world. All right, because we know that Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of therein that falleth. All right, roughly paraphrasing. All right, so that's what's going on. All right, so continuing on, this is verse. Let's do. See, you want to read that over again? I think we'll just start from the top once again. All right, and explain it from there. All right, it says, and suddenly the sown places shall appear unsown. All right, so that should be a basic one. But if you grab what sown means, Of course, the internet doesn't want to work at the moment. Sown. All right. Of course, it wants to give me all the problems. My internet's acting up. All right, we got plant a seed by scattering it on or in the earth. All right. So, okay, there we go. To be thickly covered with. All right, planted, cause, bring about, produce. All right, sown, basically populated. All right, seeded, populated. All right. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. All right, so the places that had all the things, all right, all the vegetables, the fruits, the meats, all right, those are going to be unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. All right, and that should be plain. And the trumpet shall give a sound, when every man heareth, they shall suddenly be afraid. All right, and at that time friends shall fight. And at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein, and the springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world. All right, so these people that you're your friends, you think that everything's going to be going down. Your friends, you're going to be, well, my best friend, he would never do that. All right, he's chill. All right, at the end of the day, if you have any sorts of food, all right, if he has any sorts of food and you don't, all right, or vice versa, all right, you two are probably going to kill each other over that food. All right, that's just how it's going to go. And so that pretty much sums up that one. This is let's get that out of here. Let's grab Matthew 24 and 6. All right, here we are, verse 6. All right, and this is speaking of we're gonna grab it, all right, and read down, and you'll see how we're segueing this in. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. All right, and we're seeing those things, all right, and hearing about those things. All right, we got the situation in Ukraine, all right, in Russia. It says, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. All right, so these things are the beginning of sorrows. All right, we're not fully in them yet. All right, but we're getting into the beginning of the beginning. All right, essentially. So all these things are the beginning of sorrows. And then it goes into verse 9, and I'm stepping out of the tunnel now, so I'm right in the sun. Bear with me one moment. Let me get where I can actually see my screen. Let's see, that's a little bit better. It says, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise and deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. All right, and so, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. All right, it's very, very powerful right there. All right, all these things are beginning sorrows. All right, and what does it say? Nation rising against nation. All right, kingdom against kingdom. All right, famines. All right, famines and pestilences. All right, earthquakes. And what have we seen? We've seen famines. All right, earthquakes, pestilences. All right, wars and rumors of wars. All right, you should be able to discern what time we're in right now. All right, but you're not going to. All right, and that's why when Mr. E comes up and sneaks up on you with that digital all, you're gonna run to him and say, please, Mr. E, please. And a lot of you people are gonna take it, and guess what? And then you're done. You're done. There's no coming back from that. All right, you can't repent from that. All right, and we got a perfect place to take a sit down here. Oh man! All right out of the sun too. Tawadi how about Shemi Shai? So where's the segue into? All right, we all know Here it is, 16. This is where this is segueing into, all right? And this is what's eventually going to happen. That's what these people are going to get, all right? Because they're not going to be able to find no food, no water. And he's going to come and say, hey, you know, I got this wonderful new thing that you can take, and we're going to give you a bonus amount of money, all right? It's going to store all your money. It's going to store all your identification. You don't have to carry around that stupid ID that you've been losing all these years, all right? Your car keys, you don't even have to carry those around anymore. You just have this. You don't have to bring anything out of the house with you, all right? All you need is this, all right? And on top of that, guess what? We have food reserves that we found, but they're only going to be available for the people that have this device, all right? And that's Revelation 13 and 16, all right? I don't know why it's acting like this, all right? But, you know, you can still see at the bottom. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive the mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. All right, we've already seen about the forehead one too. All right, and he causeth all. Well, is it just going to be the middle class or the low class or the upper class? No, he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell. Listen to that, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. All right, and then it goes on in 18. It says, here is wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is a number of man, his number is 666. All right, and that's another hint right there. It says it's the number of a man, all right, that man being Esau Edom. So it's basically taking that C to the H to the I to the P is basically, you know, like an all right, a digital all, like being bored through your ear, all right, as a slave would. All right, and saying, I'm here to, I'm going to serve my master forever. That's what you're doing, all right? So when Yahweh Shai comes back and sees that, he's going to pass right over you, all right? And then you're going to have to burn in the flames, all right? It's not going to be pretty. So do not take that, all right? Jeremiah. Oh, so lucky we can close out of this one now. All right, everything I have left, I can get through this one. 25. 25 and 4 down through 7. All right, and this news has been going out. All right, this news has been going out. All right, the brothers, all right, on the highways and byways, all right, as well as all across the internet, all right, and any media source pretty much you can get. All right, this has gone out. All right, notably highways and byways and YouTube. All right. With other sites showing up as well, as YouTube gets more and more, becomes more and more of a basically a dickhead with it, all right, for lack of a better word, all right, we're trying to stop the truth, all right, but, you know, this word has gone out, all right, and that's why this word is going out, to warn people, all right. This is Jeremiah 25 and 3, all right, or Jeremiah 25 and 4. Yeah, 4 says, and the Most High hath sent unto you all his servants and prophets. There's that word servant again, all right, because we all right, as men in this truth, all right, teaching the word, all right, are his servants, all right, as men in general are his servants, all right, we as a people are his servants, all right, we that's our whole purpose, is to serve him, all right, and the Most High hath sent unto you all his servants and prophets, rising early and sending them, but ye have not hearkened nor inclined your ear to hear. They say, turn ye again now every one from his evil way and from the evil of your doings, and dwell in the land that your Lord hath given unto you and to your fathers forever and ever. And go not after other gods to serve them and to worship them, and provoke me not to anger with the works of your hands, and I will do you no hurt. Yet ye have not hearkened unto me, saith the Lord, our power, that ye might provoke me to anger with the works of your hands to your own hurt. All right, so this was a warning. All right, hey, don't go after these other gods. Hey, stop serving these idols that you're worshiping. All right, stop taking part in these heathen customs. All right, but what happened? They continued on. They being the Israelites. We continued on and disobeying him and disobeying him and disobeying him. And then eventually what happened? The curses came upon us in Deuteronomy. All right, the curses came upon us. all right? And that's why we're in the state that we are in now, all right, is because we didn't hearken to his word, all right? So now that the awakening is happening, all right, the prophets, all right, are preaching, all right, and telling people, hey, look, we're at the end of this thing. Now's the time to wake up, all right? And people still aren't listening, all right? Like in 7, just as it was in the days of old, it is in now. Just like people weren't hearkening back then, people aren't hearkening now, all right? And destruction's coming, all right? And it's not gonna be good, man. It's not gonna be good. So I hope your pack of backwoods and that pork hell, let's see, I can't even think of a dish with pork in it. I hope the backwoods and the chitlins were worth it. All right, here's a hint: they weren't. All right, they're not worth your life. All right, you're not supposed to be smoking. All right, any sort of anything. All right, let alone marijuana. All right, weed. All right, well, you're just a stickler. You probably never know. Most of us have all smoked it. All right, most of us all have smoked it. Not proud of it, but most of us have done it. All right. Let's see, Proverbs. That's right. It's like you. Proverbs. We've all been there. All right. You can't say that. Oh, you're acting hot. You say that you've never done it. No, we've all been there. We've all eaten pork. All right. I used to love a pepperoni pizza. All right, when I was out in the world not knowing any better, I used to love a pepperoni pizza. All right, I used to fucking smoke weed like it was running out. All right, like the plant was going out, like it was going extinct. All right, and all sorts of abominable things. All right, there's been brothers that have, and it's truth that have, we were all in the world once as well. All right, so we did a lot of these foul acts as well. All right, adultery. All right, weed smoking, pork eating. All right, not just pork, abominable foods in general. All right, octopus. All right, rabbit. All right, duck. Any of that abominable stuff. A lot of Jake has done it. All right, because that's what we were raised up on. All right. Are we proud of it? No, we're not. Slovakia. Are we proud of it? No. If we go back, would we change? Yes. All right. But we had to go through that. All right. Wake up. All right. That's just the way that the Most High had it be. All right. Now that we're in this truth, we can never turn back. All right. And Lord willing, we never turn back. All right. I'd never want to go back to eating that fucking nasty pork anyway. That shit you give you the worst heartburn you've ever had. All right. And then your bowels would be all messed up. All right. And you brothers know them. I'm not gonna go too deep. All right. And gross with it, but you know what I'm talking about. All right. I'll just go ahead and say it. They don't call it. They have the term called pork shits for a reason. All right. I wouldn't be surprised, if all these foods Jake's more susceptible to. All right, these abominable foods, they fuck us up more because we're not supposed to be eating them. All right, like Moab, pork doesn't really affect their guts like that. All right, because pretty much everything they eat is abominable. All right, there could be a new animal that come out next week. All right, not that it would. I'm just using an example. There could be a new animal come out next week, and they'd already have a million ways to fry it. All right, by the end of the year, or the end of the month. All right. All right, Proverbs 1:24-27, without any further ado. All right, so this is for you Jakes, all right, that have heard this word, or that have walked by the highways and byways that by the prophets, all right, are preaching, or you come across these videos and hear and say, oh, I'm not down with it. All right, that isn't what that's a bunch of BS. All right, I don't want to hear it, Those guys don't know anything. All right, this is for you people. All right, and I'm gonna close it out with this because this is the very real situation that's coming. All right, and if you can't accept it, all right, and you don't have the mind open to accept it, really, that's Yahweh Shem Yahushai, not giving you an open mind to accept it. But if that's the case, destruction is coming to you, and it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be a quick destruction. You're not going to pass away in your sleep. All right, it's going to be a terrible, terrible, grievous destruction. All right, and you're going to be basically shitting your pants the whole time. All right, for lack of a better word, for lack of not swearing, I'll just say how it is. You're going to be shitting your pants. You're basically going to be shitting your pants. All right, you're going to be fucking terrified. All right. It says, because I have called, and ye, this is Proverbs 1:24. All right. It says, because I have called, and ye refused, I have stretched out mine hand, and no man regarded. But ye have set at naught of my counsel. All right, and naught means of nothing. All right, and they use that term a lot in England still. They say not. All right, it was like, not this, not that. All right, and it means basically for nothing, or zero, none. But ye have set at naught of all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. Salakia, let me do that over again. But ye have sat at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. All right, reproof being correction. All right, you wouldn't have any of it. All right, I don't want it. No, go away. You guys in your dresses. All right, and you know, whatever they say, false prophets, or you know, racists. All right, among other names. All right, pretty much any name that could be thrown out, it's been thrown out. All right. What's going to happen to those people, all right? No, I don't want, no, you're a false prophet. No, you're a racist. The white man can be saved. What's going to happen to you people, all right? What's going to happen? Verse 26, and also, I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh, all right? He will mock when your fear cometh, all right? So you're going to be terrified, and he's going to be, you know, mocking you. When the fear, verse 27, when your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you. Verse 28, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. 29, for that they hated knowledge, and did not choose the fear of the Most High. They would none of my counsel, they despised all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way, and shall be filled with their own devices. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. All right, so that's what's going to happen to these people. All right, on down to 32, it says, for the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. All right, 33, but whoso hearken unto me shall dwell safely, and they shall be quiet from the fear of evil. All right, so that should put that whole this whole from 24, was it? Yeah, from 24, all right, on down. That should put that into perspective. All right, from 24, all right, talking to the people that you know, didn't hearken, all right, and weren't listening. All right, you simple jakes. All right, and this is speaking to you jakes, because the if we go and we can prove that with if we grab. So like, you bear with me. All right, right here, we can prove that with 24. I stretched out my hand, and no man regardeth. All right, so the Most High is not going to stretch out his hands to Esau, Edom. All right, they can't get this truth. The truth's not for them. The Most High is the God of Israel, and Israel only. So that's how we know this is only speaking to Israelites. All right. So and you know, basically people were given a chance. All right, and then on down to 33, but whoso hearken unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from fear of evil. All right, so it showed you what's going to happen to the people that don't hearken, and it shows you what will happen to the people that do hearken. All right, they shall dwell safely and shall be quiet from the fear of evil. All right, but you people that aren't believing, they're mocking, you scoffers, you scorners. All right, you people like Vocab Malone. You know, and I'm throwing the Edomites too with it, all right, because you're gonna you jakes, all right, while you've refused, all right, basically the Most High stretched out his hand and you slapped it away, all right, you're gonna basically be taken apart in the same judgment that Esau is gonna be, all right, getting destroyed, all right, burning up, being ravaged, all right. You get to stay here with them and go through all that, all right. Now it's not gonna be pretty, all right. And your fear, like it says, your fear is gonna cometh, all right. It says when your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish come upon you, then shall they call upon me. You're like, please, Lord, please, you know, and it's not going to happen. It says, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For they that hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord, they would none of my counsel. They despised all my reproof. All right, saw his prophets on the highways and byways, and scoffed at him. All right, and called them names. Therefore they shall eat the fruit of their own way, and shall be filled with their own devices. All right, you planted your destruction, and now you get to reap it. All right, for the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. And once again, we're going to close out after this. But whoso hearken unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from fear of evil. All right, so you jakes, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as you other you people that may look like other nations, all right, but really go back to the house of Israel. All right, you need to repent. All right, you Israelites need to repent, all right, and come back under the wing of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, so you can be saved, all right, have a chance of salvation, because this world, the only thing it's going to bring you is death and despair, all right, so with that, I'm going to close out. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth and rule well. And I want to say shalom to you Akim and Aquath out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. We're almost out of here, Lord willing, until the next one. We're almost out of here. Until the next one, Lord willing, shalom.